On this episode of Star Trek Universe, we are talking all about Picard 305, Imposter, and answering some feedback right after these words from our mystery sponsors.
Welcome to Star Trek Universe, the podcast where you get to listen on two lifelong friends chat about the Trek. My name is Matthew Carroll.
I'm David C. Robertson.
Buddy. Return of Ro Lauren.
Laren, but yes.
Ensign Ro.
Michelle Forbes, yes.
Lieutenant Ro. Good old Laren.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sleepy tonight, man. Woof.
I know, man.
Oof.
And I don't know
what is wrong? It's a great episode. It was wonderful. A little talky, and I'm just sleepy in general. And so it's just one of those nights I pulled up to the episode and I was like, all right, get me pumped up. Let's do this. And there was a talkier one than some of them have been lately. And I was a little, I just came in a bad way. It wasn't the show's fault. It was all me. But I had to rewind it a number of times for passing out. And that's not a great way to start. And I haven't been that way. We've been doing this 2 a.m. thing this whole season, and this is the first night where I'm just like, I'm not able to make it through.
I think it's funny because I was more sleepy when they were more actiony at the beginning, and then when the more talky they got, the more I was like, intrigued.
Mm-hmm. I hear that. So, what'd you think of this here 5th episode of Star Trek Picard?
I loved it. I really did. I'm very much starting to suspect that Jack Crusher is maybe like a species 8472.
You mean metaphorically?
No.
Or you mean literally
no.
species 8472?
Didn't they have the ability to shapeshift into people? And you remember how because I've been kind of laughing because in my head, when I see the little tendrils and stuff that he keeps seeing, it looks like the Upside Down from Stranger Things.
I was about to say that.
But also when something triggered in my brain when I saw in his little flash forward or whatever it was at the beginning of the episode when he's about to shoot that instant and the tendrils come up around her face, it reminded me of the 8472 in Voyager, all up against Harry Kim's face.
Yeah,
pretty much exactly like that.
Okay.
So
I don't remember the 8472 having shape-shifting abilities like that. But the Changelings didn't have this much shape-shifting ability either, so it's evolution, they said.
Or it might be a combination of the two species.
Could be, mayhaps.
I'm gonna check and see because they were born in fluidic space.
Yep, remember that.
Capable of shape-shifting and telepathy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Maybe he's being controlled by an 8472?
I don't know. I don't know, man.
Maybe it's Changelings versus Changelings? Fluidic space versus whatever our space is called versus regular type,
solid space,
original flavor space.
But yeah, no, I'm starting to wonder if that's maybe a possibility that
sure,
more Ash Tyler thoughts,
Yeah. More and more feels like Ash Tyler. He's just doesn't know who he is or what he's doing, and he didn't even know they were changelings. He just felt the threat of this group and went after them. It's pretty intense, and yeah, I can't help but think of non-Star Trek things like Firefly and Serenity and Young River. She's activated.
But if he was 8472, it would make sense that he had telepathy if he just knew that they were changelings and didn't know how.
Yeah, but he says he didn't know.
I know. I said didn't know how.
Well, didn't know how, but he says he didn't even know. So presumably he's just killing people that he thinks are humans.
Nah, man, subconscious. He knew on a base level.
I hear you. That's possible. It's possible. So the meat of this episode really is Ro Laren.
Mm-hmm.
I always called her Lauren forever. Like, I don't know why. It just always. I think I read her name more than I heard it. Because she was in a lot of like the I feel like she was mentioned in a ton of the books I read as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've seen all the episodes with her, but I just like read it more than heard it over the years. But she was really the sort of central piece of this episode. Her and Picard getting a chance to kind of settle their issue, which I really loved. It was really beautiful.
That was all gorgeous, and I loved that. I was really worried for a minute that she was going to be a shapeshifter. Mm-hmm. And I was like, they're going to cheap out on me, but they didn't.
That was definitely what they wanted you to believe, right?
Yeah.
When she shows up. Have you seen, there's a great moment in S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah,
where
I've seen all of that.
Where a group of agents makes a bunch of our protagonists kneel to them and commit to being Hydra, or they're going to shoot them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ones who don't admit to being Hydra are the ones they don't shoot, and it turns out they're S.H.I.E.L.D. They're just like really giving them a test of loyalty. It felt like that. Like new characters show up. She seems like she'd be an obvious choice to be the Changeling, but no, she was the one that was really infiltrating this whole thing and like leading up the intelligence effort to stop the Changelings.
Mm-hmm. I loved it. I hated how they closed her out, though, man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I just, after that big come to Picard moment.
Well, see, and that's what I thought. I liked the ending. And I mean, this is more about wrapping up Picard's story than hers, which is unfortunate because she is a fan favorite. And the whole idea is that she did this thing that Picard was very angry about and very, betrayed by, but we as the audience watching it understood where she was coming from. That's the whole point of that run. And it's like, I loved the way that they ended it with her asking, do you trust me? And he pauses for a long time and says, yes, because what that's admitting is that the thing you did back then, I felt it was a betrayal, and I'm telling you right now, I felt it was a betrayal, but I trust who you are. You know what I mean? Like, I trust you deep down. Yeah. Like, you made the decision you made back then was in line with the person that I trust even now, even in this moment. And I think that was really powerful. Mm-hmm. And giving him the earring, he said that represents your faith.
Yeah.
And then giving him the earring, I thought was her saying, sort of metaphorically, like, I'm putting my faith in you.
Right.
Yeah, but absolutely. It also had that double feature of being a little spycraft, and that was fun.
Yeah. I just didn't want her to die.
Yeah, man, me neither.
I was like, no, we just got you back, Ro.
Yeah, they're like 30 years, you finally show up for one episode, and you're just gone. That's a bummer.
Yeah, but it was closure. There's so much of TNG that I've wanted closure on, and I feel like Picard has wrapped up a lot of that.
Yeah.
So over the years.
Yeah, for sure. And this season particularly, it feels like it's trying to really do that.
Yeah. So, I was happy with all of that, and I love conspiracy episodes, conspiracy stories about like the top tiers of Starfleet being infiltrated. So, like, when she, like, pulls him into the holodeck and she's like, okay, so here's the shit. I'm like, yeah! Like,
yeah.
That's my jam.
I like it when he turns the safety protocols off and then grabs the gun. He's like, Guinans. That's good.
More like Gunnans. Guinans Gunnans.
I wanted to make a joke a minute ago, but it was just a pun and not worth it. You were talking about loving conspiracies, and I was like, if like Peter David was writing Q books these days, it'd be like QAnon.
Oh God.
Like a conspiracy among the Qs. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
Brain went right to it.
Well done.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really solid episode. It was a little talkier, but it was like really just about, I mean, very little else happened except we find out that Ro was their contact, and so there in lies a chance for us to connect the Worf storyline with the Picard storyline, and now we get to see where that's going to lead us.
Mm-hmm.
And all that information they've been gathering is now in Picard's hands.
Yep. I love the dude who was playing Kryn.
Mm-hmm. He was great.
I can't remember his name, but he was on Fringe. And he He was also on Arrow as Richard Dragon, and he was fantastic. Like, that was some of the strongest stuff Arrow did, was his storyline. It was just like, holy shit, blood-curdled stuff. So anyway, yeah, I dug that guy. I was glad to see him again. I loved his like reasoning and stuff. Like, without crime, a utopia cannot exist. Mm-hmm. An organization of criminals is logical. Like, yeah, that was great.
I just love how, and that's the thing about logic, is logic is not one thing. Different people like employ logic to come to different, resolutions or solutions. Mm-hmm. And it just always feels like the Vulcans are always using their logic to come to whatever they feel like. Which I know feel is a dicey word there, but like whatever they want to, whatever they desire, their logic is going to facilitate. And it often feels like their logic is, and I think this is true in a lot of cases in the original series, when we meet a lot of the Vulcans, their logic is sort of a vehicle for them to feel superior in their choices, not necessarily actually what they're using to come to those choices.
Yeah.
And so that was neat to see that here. I think it worked really well.
I do too. And were you fooled by Worf's
death?
Yeah.
No. Never.
I wasn't either.
No way. I might have been fooled if he'd murdered Raffi, but there's no way they're going to bring back Worf and not reunite him with the rest of the crew. Like, there's just no way. I mean, maybe I was like, maybe he's dead for a second and they're going to bring him back, and like they're going to get a medical team, or like they're going to get saved, but like never thought that was actually going to be the case.
Hey man,
that he was dying.
J.J. Abrams' production company would never do such a thing. Han Solo.
Yeah. True. Fair.
Luke Skywalker.
Fair hit. Man, that just feels, those are so unsatisfying.
Mm-hmm.
Those returns. It's just so unsatisfying.
And yet, The Last Jedi is my favorite Star Wars movie.
Oh, I love The Last Jedi. I don't know, man. Rogue One, I think, is better.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, you should see it. It's really good. It's just a great standalone movie. But of the main run of the 9 episodes, Last Jedi is my favorite too. It's like every Star Wars fan's least favorites, and it's definitely my favorite.
Me too, yeah.
It's got so many more inventive visuals, so many more interesting like character choices, and I love it.
That's why whenever I'm on Twitter and I see someone like bitching about The Mandalorian or something, I'm like, man, I need to get on watching that show. It's probably great.
It's okay. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think by season 2 I got to where I really liked it. First season I was kind of like, this is popular because it's Star Wars. That's how I felt about the first season. And then the second season I was like, all right, I dig it. Well, this is popular because it's Star Wars and it has a cute puppet at the center. Like those are the two things making this show popular. And then by season 2 I was like, okay, I'm invested. This has hooked me now. But it took like a full season. There are some really great moments though, like some really great
Bill Burr.
Bill Burr. Bill Burr's amazing. There's also another moment where there's two stormtroopers talking, and it's Jason Sudeikis, I believe, and some other really good comedian, but you never even see their faces. It's just them two talking in the desert, and it's great. It's just really funny shit. And they're like, it's just sort of like ancillary, like other stuff's going on, and they're just like standing in the desert talking, and it's just stuff like that they get to do on that show with just like a lot of time, you know?
Yeah, I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, me too. Now that I've gone back and watched a lot of the Clone Wars, I'm excited because I don't know. I know who Ahsoka is now a lot more than like I'd seen her and I knew who she was, but like now I've seen a lot of that character and care about that character. She has some amazing stuff in the Clone Wars, and so I'm excited to see the new Ahsoka show with
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah. It's gonna be good.
Cool, man.
It's gonna be good.
So anyway, Star Trek.
Right, Star Trek. I don't have a lot to say about this episode. There's like there's definitely some good stuff in there. It's good. But it feels very much like a bottle episode. It's very much about these like conversation between Ro and Picard. And it's about their like sort of forgiveness, which I thought was really well played. But as for like where we go in, like what happens next, like I don't know. I mean, I don't have any. I like this 8472 theory. But yeah, I don't know. I do not remember them being shapeshifters. I don't remember them being fluidic space, which was like different from our space, and like they couldn't cross. I thought, or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't even know what fluidic space is.
Man, I am just like of this episode. I will say I loved it, and I my God, I want a spinoff with Shaw. I love him so much.
Me too, man. I just love the fact they went through this like life-risking scenario together, which normally bonds people, and he's just like whistling over their graves as he leads them to their court-martial. It's just so good. He just has like there's just like no, I don't know, empathy in him for Picard and Riker at all, like even though they just went through this thing together, and it's so funny to me.
Even like in the ready room when he was like I relieve you, and Riker's like, I stand relieved, and he goes, all right, well now that I'm back in command, I'd like to let you know that I already contacted Starfleet. Hanson, would you like to be instated or stated or whatever? She's like, oh God. When you face the music, he's like, well, I'm gonna let you guys I'm gonna leave you guys alone so you can come up with or get your bullshit story straight.
As a courtesy, I'm gonna leave you guys alone so you can get your bullshit story straight. Oh man, it's really
He's
good.
So good.
Yeah, he is. I think he might be my favorite captain now. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's all this arguing about Kirk or Picard. Shaw all the way, man.
Yeah, I'll say Cisco, and then like a quarter of an inch down the list, Shaw. And then right after him is Lorca.
Wait, are we Star Trek fans?
No. No, I think we are, but we long for better captains.
I don't know. I do long for the interesting, and sometimes the captains can be a little, uninteresting, a little too heroic, too stodgy or something. And I do really like when see these captains who are good men, like they're doing the right thing, but they're like real human and real flawed.
Yeah, I mean, like up until season 3, like the most divisive thing Captain Archer ever did was feed his dog cheese. He knew it was bad for him.
It's true.
But he just liked it, so he gave it to him.
Yeah. Yep. That's true.
All right. So, do you have anything else on this episode? Do you want to move on to feedback? Because we got some.
Whoa, feedback already?
We do, from our last episode, which was a feedback episode.
Oh, sure. Let's hit the feedback, and something may come up, and we'll discuss it. But I feel like I really do feel like it was just like sort of a bottle episode for those two characters, and then with a couple of extra scenes. The Worf and Rafi scene was cool, but I don't know. I'm not really thinking of anything. I feel like we really learned about their characters there, except for just them being badasses. It was a cool Vulcan, and like we've talked about that. So let's hit that feedback.
Cool. Aritra the Gnome responds and says, just listening to the podcast and my comment, the glowy portal I was referring to was the portal in season 2 that Borgatti is guarding as the Borg Queen Jurati.
Oh, right.
So, yeah.
What's going on with that?
The portal weapon that they're focusing on this season at all.
Right. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we talked last season about where they're going to be doing with that this season, and nothing, I guess, is the answer.
I don't know.
It feels very strange. Like, there feels like a lot to do with this whole changeling thing that if we go back to that, it'll feel really out of place, I feel like. But I don't know. Remember she was like guarding from something worse or something like that, she said? She was there with the Borg to guard at that gate?
Yeah.
And we don't know what that is. Could that be changeling related?
Maybe 8472.
Could be 8472 related?
I mean, they were worse than the Borg. They were taking down the Borg.
They were, literally like the enemies of the Borg. So it would make sense if the Borg have, interests to hold them back. But what if the 8472 are there to stop the changelings and their infiltration for some reason? It just feels like all of that feels so outside of the realm of what I understand is going on right now.
Remember, Aritra the Gnome brought up that portal could be a gateway for Discovery to come back into the 25th century.
Oh, gotcha. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's interesting. What if the Borg are standing at the gate to stop Discovery from returning? What does that mean?
It's something worse than the Borg.
It's Michael Burnham. Her insubordination. It's coming to roost.
Her insubordination and incessant whispering. We're stopping Discovery from coming and changing more timeline things.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, we joke about it, but like, if Discovery came back from the 32nd century, it would definitely like put some kinks in the timeline that, maybe that's one of the things that causes the temporal war or whatever, like it could be leading us into that.
Oh, that would be so cool.
It really would. It really would. Like, if
Section we keep writing so much, I wish we were writers for this shit, man.
Well, yeah, if like Section 31, like that show is partially about like them just dodging and like stopping and starting and like whatever they need to do to the temporal war, that's like being prodded on by these outside forces. Could be very interesting, but I as much as I love that stuff and I love it's just really hard to imagine a show that is even understandable that would be about the temporal war,
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Like, it's just, and not that it can't happen.
I think we need
hard to imagine.
I think we need Terry Matalas and Stephen Moffat to team up.
Ooh. I think we need Terry Matalas, Stephen Moffat, and the Daniels to tackle that.
Okay. All right.
From Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like to handle the weird multiversal craziness that can happen with a temporal war. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, like after so far in this season, can Terry Matalas take over for Alex Kurtzman? Can he just run Star Trek from now on? Oh my God.
Yeah, it's been really good. It's definitely been more the Star Trek that I want to see. Just the way that it's connected these older storylines and the way it's moving forward and telling new stories and starting to like sketch out what does the universe look like now, That's the stuff I've wanted for the last however long, and we've been getting nothing but prequels and distant future stuff.
Breach. Aritra the Gnome also corrects me and says it was not the Daystrom Institute that got destroyed by the portal weapon. It was a Starfleet recruitment center on Metalis Prime.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I slip. My brain doesn't work all the time, man.
Yeah, I didn't hear
know
you
you're
say
new to
that.
the show, but that's common. Too many things start being brought up, and my brain just inserts shit where it shouldn't be. Yeah.
Indeed.
I'm sorry. My God, I'm sorry.
My God.
And also, I do want to bring up John Plays What sent us an email and basically said the same thing Eritrea said, is that he wasn't talking about that portal. He was talking about the other one.
Okay. Yeah, to be perfectly honest, I kind of forgot about that whole portal thing at the end of season 2 because it seemed like they did.
Yeah.
I mean, it ended with them like standing at the gate of that portal being like, all right, we're here, let's do something. And I'm like, okay. And now it's just completely diverted to a different thing. So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see if they go back to it this season or if that's just something they're just leaving open for a future thing. I don't know. Yeah,
maybe. I mean, we know the Borg are hanging out there, so.
Yeah.
Timothy Castillo sends us an email. Says,
Timothy!
So one of the weird dangling threads in this third season of Picard is Laris. You guys talked a lot about yesterday's Enterprise in the feedback episode, which reminded me that Metalis had said in the lead-up to Season 3 that the villain would be an old new villain. The Changelings are relatively old at this point, I would say, so I've been wondering if he might be referring to someone from Picard. Could Laris be playing the long game? Sayla was Tal Shiar, so could Laris be in league with her? Sayla probably resents both Picard and Worf, because not only was she trying to break up Spock's peace talks, but she had also tried setting up the Duras family as the rulers of the Klingon Empire. She also brainwashed Geordi to have him kill a Klingon High Council member, so he would definitely have some beef with her. What if Sayla, wait for it, insert Will Arnett voice here, is Laris? Facial reconstruction? Holy crap. Maybe not so niche, Matt. Maybe not so niche. All the best of both worlds. Timothy Castillo. P.S. Tasha Yar went back to the Enterprise C with Lieutenant Castillo, so I am a bit biased toward that episode. P.P.S. I can't be sure, but I think there was a stork on Metalis saying, Ishara, Ishara. Now that was a niche episode.
Okay. What is Ishara? Help me out.
That was Tasha's sister.
Is he referencing the stork from WandaVision? Is that what Timothy's doing here?
No, he said there was a stork on Metalis Prime. He says he thinks there was a stork on Metalis Prime saying Ishara, Ishara. Now, he might be referencing some Pandavision, WandaVision, whatever it's called.
No, yeah. So
whatever y'all do.
So on the MCU cast for years, we've been having this discussion, and Jeff and Ashley are completely convinced that the stork in the episode of WandaVision where there's a stork right before the birth, there's a stork in the room, and it goes, rah, rah, rah. And they're convinced it's saying Mephisto. They are so convinced, and I've listened to it. It is not. It is just a stork voice saying 3 syllables, and they are so convinced that it's Mephisto. And other people are on their side on this. I stand firmly that it does not say Mephisto. Yeah. And they say, like, basically, if Mephisto ever shows up, that they're correct. And I'm like, no, that does not track.
No, that's stupid. You should play him some Beatles tracks backwards and ask him if they hear Paul is dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, man, that Revolution number 9 does sound a lot like Paul is dead. No, Revolution 9 is the Turn Me On Dead Man. I forget where Paul is Dead is from.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know the Beatles well enough. I have all their albums. I just don't listen to them so much.
Or listen to them backwards near enough, clearly.
I know. What's wrong with me? But yeah, maybe he's mentioning that. But I think Ashara is definitely Tasha's sister from TNG.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's making a reference to just deep cut conspiracy theories about episodes that, like, that there was a stork saying something that gives him a clue. I think that's what Timothy's going for here.
Yeah, I hope so.
Unfortunately,
I didn't remember a stork, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure he's just talking about that episode because that's been a ongoing debate on the MCU cast for, I guess, 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even a debate. It's just like a leftover thing of them still talking about Mephisto and me being like, it's not Mephisto, which I was pretty much doing the entire time of WandaVision. Like, they kept saying all these things, and I was like, no, it's just a devil symbol. Like, they're witches, whatever. And they're like, Mephisto, Mephisto, Mephisto. And then, yeah, of course, that was not confirmed in any way from that or from Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Still might be somehow connected, of course. It's connected in comics, but you know.
Yeah, 2037, Mephisto finally shows up. They're like, we knew it!
Yeah, 90-year-old Jeff's like, I told you so! He'll be 90 and 37, right? Jeff ages like a dog.
That's not the only thing he does like a dog.
That lecherous hump. Okay.
What? I was thinking like drink water, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My thoughts were innocent.
I don't believe you. All right. Any other feedback?
Yeah, we've got one very short one from Stuart Little who says, Matt gets it. My email title. And that email title was "Cause this my United Federation of whatever."
Oh yeah. My United States of whatever.
Yeah, I didn't get it. I'm sorry.
It's all good. I'm here to get all the weird references to whatever. I think it's a 90s song and like weird deep cut MCU cast references, which clearly that is. I'm the one who could get those.
You are the one who could get those.
I'm the one. Whoa.
Like, I follow all the Marvel stuff, but I don't remember stuff from your show, man. Y'all got a lot of stuff going on.
It's fair. We'd normally do. Man, I'm getting upset. I'm getting downright upset at Marvel for their lack of content and their lack of letting me know when it's coming. It's like they put out the movie Quantum Mania, you know, which is great, wonderful. But they've had basically every week a TV show for like 2 years, and then they're just like, we're just not going to tell you when the next one's coming, and they've just been sitting on their hands.
Yeah,
I want a show.
I mean, you guys can still talk about cool developments, like freaking.
Oh yeah,
you know,
we are, but it's just like I just want more. I want more content. It's not even about this. I'm not even talking about the show. I'm just talking about like I am as a Marvel fan feeling starved here.
You've gotten too spoiled.
I am. I was talking a lot about it. Like, we've talked a lot about how Star Trek, sometimes it's just too much. And we talked about that in MCU cast, too. Like, sometimes it feels like there's just, like, you don't have a chance to miss it, you know? But it's like they go in these wide swings where it's like, there's too much. It's like every week, and then sometimes stacked on top of each other, and then they'll just like take 5 months off. Like, just give me like a couple weeks between shows to miss it, and then throw me back in. You know, you don't have to like take these months-long breaks, and you know, you don't have to stack them on top of each other. But like, find that medium. You know?
Yeah, I don't know what the medium is because,
I don't either.
You know, between Marvel and DC. So I do the DC show where I'm doing Star Trek.
What's DC?
District of Columbia.
Oh, okay.
No, you know, plus I'm watching all these really great things like Ted Lasso and Shrinking is phenomenal. And
Shrinking is so good.
It's so good. Mythic Quest is just like mother's milk.
I haven't gotten into that one. I tried. It hadn't hit me yet.
How far are you in?
I watched like 3 or 4 episodes and I fell off.
No. Watch the first season and tell me what you think.
I will when I get a chance. But any show that's like, you're 4 episodes in and you're not interested, I'm like, all right, I'll come back later. I don't have time for this.
It's just one of those things where like I don't know what it was exactly because when I go back and watch those episodes, I'm like, oh yeah, I dig this. This is great. When I first started watching it, I was like, it's all right.
Yeah. I didn't find myself being interested at all in the first few episodes, which I'm sure there might be more to come, but or like it might get better. But
beg of you to continue for me.
I will. At some point, I will. But I'm just too busy right now.
Anywho, that's all I've got as far as feedback is concerned for right now.
Well, guys, I'm sure I'm going to rewatch this episode because when I'm less tired, and hopefully I'll have a little more to say. Throw in your feedback. We'll hopefully be able to do another feedback episode this week. That was fun, getting a chance to do like an instant reaction and then a full episode with feedback. That's the way we do it on MCU Cast. And when you guys participate, send in feedback, it gives us something to do, and we can have that kind of back and forth. I really like it.
Even if your feedback is, please, no, for the love of God, merciful Jesus Christ, no more episodes, then you absolutely have to. Even if that's the feedback, I would like to hear it and laugh about it as we do a feedback episode.
Indeed. Please, merciful Zeus, no more episodes.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. And, what's a good Bajoran saying?
Ow, mycelia.
Nope, that's not Bajoran.
Oh.
None of that's Bajoran. Come on, watch 7 years of that Bajoran show.
I don't know what the hell they say.
What do they say? It's probably something about terrorism. Joel Untrue.
I just looked up Bajoran sayings, and this one came up from Balak. Get lost.
Terrorist bastard. All right, Balak, we will live long and prosper.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for listening to the Star Trek Universe Podcast, a Stranded Panda production. If you'd like to hear more from David C. Robertson, check out the DC On Screen podcast or maladjusted.tv for his web videos. If you'd like to hear more from Matthew Carroll, check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast or listen to his music. Just search for Matthew Carroll anywhere you get music.